Hi, my name is Ron Haynes. I'm the lab technician for the City of Kingsport's water treatment plant. They've asked me to discuss with you a little bit about the American Water Works Association's National Drinking Water Week, which is May the 5th through May the 11th. This year the slogan is, "What do you know about H2O?" Well, here are a few little facts about water. 75% of the earth is covered with water. 97% of that water is found in the oceans. About only 3% of the water on earth is drinkable. The human body is made up of 70% water. A person can go a month or so without food, but they can only go about a week without water. And water is one of the only substances found on earth that's found in gas, liquid, and solid form. So you can see water is very important to us. Matter of fact, our very existence on this earth depends on available drinking water. So our source water, which can be wells, lakes, rivers, streams, it's very important to keep those clean. Because it's important to keep those clean, the EPA estimates that the utilities across the United States produce nearly 34 billion gallons of water from different sources. So it is important that our source water stays clean. During this National Drinking Water Week, water professionals and the communities they serve come together and they realize the vital role in which water plays, not just for recreation or manufacturing or things like that. The drinking water like I said, plays a vital role. You may ask, what can I do during this week? Well, here's a few ideas. Instead of paving or using concrete, you can use permeable materials like brick or wood that lets the water through. You can eliminate using pesticides, fertilizers, things like that could contaminate the water. You can reduce the amount of trash that's produced. Recycle the different things, plastic, newspapers, things like that. I know City of Kingsport has a wonderful recycling program, and I know a lot of people take advantage of that. You can recycle used motor oil. One fact that I found, that 1 quart of used motor oil can actually contaminate up to 2 million gallons of water. So it's really important to recycle your oil instead of just throwing it out on the ground or letting it leak out somewhere. So let's do that. And it's best to keep pollutants away from all the waterways. Like I said, our source waters are wells, lakes, rivers, streams. So you don't want to contaminate those at all. It's really important. These are just a few ideas that you can do during this week, but of course all year long as well. At home, there are different things you can do. You can do some things like you clean your faucets and your aerators regularly. You clean and disinfect sinks and drains regularly. Keep drains clear and unclogged. Use cold water to prepare your food. Replace old plumbing with lead-free fixtures. Flush cold taps when the water hasn't been turned on for a long time, like if you're on vacation. Always follow manufacturer's instructions when setting up softeners, filtration systems, anything like that. Don't use hoses that aren't intended for drinking water purposes on drinking water taps. You don't want to cross contamination. And always keep hazardous and unsanitary materials away from your drinking water taps and sources. Again, these are just a few ideas to help you along with during the week and the rest of the year. Another thing that's going to happen during National Drinking Water Week is the City of Kingsport is going to send out its annual water quality report, or we call Consumer Confidence Report. Now this report has a lot of valuable information in it. It tells you a lot of things. I actually have a copy of it with me. This is what it's going to look like. Kingsport, we're all about clean water, and we actually are here. This report, like I said, has a lot of different information, and I'm not going to take the time to go over every bit of this, but like I said, it's got things how you can help protect the environment and drinking water sources. Who do I call if I've got questions about my water? It even has information on how to dispose of unused medications, which people a lot of times flush down the toilet. They end up in the sewer system, and then it ends up back in the environment eventually. So, like I said, it's got a lot of information. It talks about everything we do here. The EPA has had us send these out since 1999 every year. One of the more important things you might want to see is the water quality results. And I don't expect you to be able to see this, but this gives you results of what we monitor for every year and something that we might find. For example, the nitrate. Well, we test for nitrate every year, of course, and last year our result was 0.61 parts per million. Well, we have a maximum contaminant level of 10 parts per million. That was set by the EPA. So you can see the difference. Nitrates can come from things like fertilizers, some of it's actually natural, sewage, things like that end up in the water. So that's just one of the contaminants we test for. And you may ask yourself, well, why do we even have contaminants in our water? Well, all water is going to have particular contamination to it. We have our source water is the South Fork of the Holston River, so you can imagine the runoff that's going to come from the river. From the parking lots, from pasture fields, anything that has to do with human or animal activity is going to end up in the river eventually. Small creeks, all these feeders feed into the river, and everything runs off into the river, so there's going to be contamination. The good part is, here at the water treatment plant, we're designed to remove as much of those contaminants as possible into and make a safe, healthy drinking water product. And the CCR also will touch a little bit on the lead contamination and its health effects. We've been testing for lead here at this plant for at least 20 years or more, and I know that the results have been very low. We've met and exceeded by far the standards set by the EPA. So lead is not an issue, so that means if you do any plumbing work, anything like that, just make sure you use lead-free fixtures, lead-free pipes, lead-free solder, things like that. Anything like that to help out. All this information we put out so you'll understand your drinking water a little bit better. I know I mentioned some things like parts per million. I'm going to give you a comparison for parts per million so you'll understand a little bit more what our actual chemical results are telling you. One comparison for parts per million is 1 inch in 16 miles. That's a good one. 1 second in 11.5 days. 1 minute in 2 years. So, those are just comparisons. Here's a good one. If you add 4 drops of ink to a 55-gallon drum of water, that will give you 1 part per million of the ink. So like I said, that's just a little bit of information, something to help you understand when you read these results on this annual water quality report. Alright, I'd like to talk a little bit about the discussion between tap water and bottled water. I'm not going to debate this issue. I'm the lab tech for the water treatment plant. I'm pretty proud of the water that goes out of here. We've got a lot of operators with over 100 years of experience here. I know we put out a good product because I test it every day. But I do understand that bottled water has found its niche in society as a fast, convenient, very accessible way for us to get the water our bodies need every day. Some people think the bottled water tastes better, they think it's safer, they think it's purer. That's not the case. Tap water is regulated by the EPA. Bottled water is regulated by the FDA. So both are safe products to drink. However, sometimes some bottlers will use tap water and they'll change it a little bit and they'll put their own flavor to it. And all that's fine. However, there's things that bottled water can't do. Bottled water can't put out a large fire. It's difficult for us to bathe in bottled water. You can't shower in it. You don't want to fill a bathtub full of it. It gets expensive. And a lot of industries cannot use that bottled water in the processes. So that is why tap water delivers. It's a very highly regulated, safe, potable source of drinking water, and it costs only a fraction of what bottled water costs. Tap water's a good product. You can count on it. It's there. Something else considered with bottled water is the aspect of you've got a plastic bottle has to be produced. Ironically, to produce that plastic bottle, it takes tap water. I'm not even going to mention the fact that plastic bottles take a long time to degrade in our landfills. So when you put that together, the energy and the cost it takes to produce bottled water and the cost of the water itself, they're both safe, potable drinking water, but the tap water is just a little bit cheaper. So what does all this mean? It means that the tap water produced at the city plant meets and exceeds all the standards set forth by the EPA and gives you a safe, great tasting water that you can have confidence in. So during National Drinking Water Week and every other week, drink plenty of water. In conclusion, I'd like to tell you, read your CCR, read your bottled water labels. Be involved in decisions that affect your drinking water and the drinking water sources, because a little help from everybody goes a long way.